Page 46, theme from the Unfinished Symphony by Schubert. Very famous melody. I'm guessing you've probably heard it. The tricky part here, other than the fact the melody moves around, and they got tremolos in this arrangement, is the rhythm. They give an example at the very top. I don't like using those examples. I like using the music. So let's take a look at the music. The first line, the last two measures of the first line. 1 and 2 and 3 and. If you can hang on to that, that's a start. So we have in the left hand, this is in the key of G major, it's got one sharp. So it's here, eighth note, and then quarter notes. And then, so the notes aren't hard, I hope. So it's 1 and for the first two. And then the rest of them come on the and. They come on the half beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Oh, goody. I'll come back to this in a minute. I want to go ahead and talk about the right hand all the way through, and then we'll come back and do some things. For the most part, the right hand on page 46, the right hand is accompaniment. You keep it soft, you keep it down. All the good stuff's in the left hand. Till you get down to the bottom, the last line, and we have this first measure, 1 and 2 and. The rhythm changed just a little bit. 1 and 2 and 3 and. There's a ritardando there, so we're going to slow down. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and. It's almost like you're coming to a stop, but you don't. And then the next measure is an all tempo, so you take off again. But now the right hand gets the melody, and the left hand gets the blah. But you have dotted half notes here. Hold that down for the whole measure, and you got dotted half notes throughout here. You got to hold them down. So it's here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, and that dotted rhythm in that last two measures of page 46. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a 2 E. Or 1 and 2. You just make it a short note between the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. But hold the dotted half note down, huh? 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. And that goes on for a while. Isn't that fun? Oh boy. And the third measure, the first line on page 47, you've changed positions. Now you're not here, now you're here. So the second measure's here, 2 and 3. Just cross over the little finger and get the third finger on the G sharp. You can do that. I do it all the time. That's now, second line, first measure, there's a break in the phrase. So I'm going to lift up for the melody. The thumb stays down, so it's here. So there's a break in sound between the E and the G sharp, but the thumb stays down. Watch the staccatos and make them short. And there's a sforzando on the half note. More. Again. And now, third line, second measure, they're all accented. Go ahead and put a little silence in between each note. You don't need to connect these. That's an F natural there, and the third measure of the third line. Watch out. And then the last line, those are not accented. Those are just regular. First ending at the bottom, you have to move quickly because you're here and you got to go to here. Yeah, there's no time, there's no rest or nothing. You 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So you may have to practice that move. Here to here. Actually, you're coming from the whole is from here to here. You're just not using the G. So it's you're going down an octave. Just don't play the G. And then at the very end, on the second ending, the last note, that's a G. Left hand. on page 46, start with the third line down. This is what the first line's an introduction. You see the double bars at the end of the first line? It's introduction. The piece starts here. So it's here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a 2. The end of the second line there, lift up because it's the end of a phrase. Third line, cross over, second measure, get G sharp. And again, the last measure of the third line down, you have a phrase break in there, so lift up before you play the G sharp. And then you're going to slow down. Now they're saying 1-5. They're in the last line, second measure. You play it with the thumb, put the fifth finger on it. All we're doing is connecting the first measure here, and then immediately. A little tricky because you don't have any time. You got to do this finger substitution very quickly, immediately after you play it. Because half a beat later, you got to be playing these notes because you're going to hold the dotted half note down, so you can do these. Thumbs on the next to the last measure. The last two measures of page 46, the thumb plays both of those notes, and the little finger stays down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and that's fun. Top of page 47, last two measures of the first line. Again, the thumb plays both of those notes. Then we get to the fun stuff on the second line. Last two measures, it's a staccato and then a tremolo. And a tremolo, we've had this before. You rotate and do it in rhythm. Decide how fast you can do this, but is it going to be half notes? Going to be 16th notes? I'm guessing that's most people are going to do here, 16th notes. So it's a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2. Now there's a note at the bottom of the page that instead of using tremolo, you can just play them in octaves. So it's here. I'll leave that up to you, whether you do the tremolo or play the octaves. But if you're new to tremolo, I would suggest you try it out. Just do 16th notes because it's good practice. Third line down, second measure. Again, those are accented, so separate them. Just come up between each one. More tremolos. Last measure of the piece. Down at the bottom, those are G's, octaves. They're both G's. Now, you get all that mess figured out, and learn this first like that. Then you can add the pedal. A lot of it's legato pedaling, but we don't pedal some of the stuff that could get smeary. We try and avoid that. First line, last two measures. It's overlapping pedal. I'm going to play the notes, and then I'm going to push the pedal down. And each time I change the pedal, I'm going to play the note, and then I'm going to lift the pedal up and put it back down. So the last measure of the first line is that. And then second line, it's here. Change. Lift the pedal up when you play the right hand note, if you can. Don't catch the 16th note in the pedal. So we don't pedal that part. Third line. Same thing here. Lift the pedal up when you play the right hand note. Now this last measure, to keep it simple, I'm simply going to raise the pedal up with the hands at right before I play the 8th notes at the end of the measure. No pedal on that last 8th note, so it's here. So I want to break in the left hand. I don't need a break in the right hand, but I'm going to end up getting it anyway. Now, first measure the last line. Go ahead and pedal that last eighth note. When you play them, hit the pedal down and legato pedal to the next one here. This way, you don't have to do the finger substitution if you don't want to. The pedal, we'll use the pedal for that. So the first measure, and then go ahead with the pedal down, move your hand, or both hands actually. Let the pedal connect to the sound. Now when you get over to page 47, second line, last two measures, the pedal goes down with the staccato notes and comes up with the hands. So it's here. This isn't overlapping here. So to start with the second measure, the second line, because this is overlapping. And then on this one, I'm going to raise the pedal up and put it down with the note. And then with the half note, I'm going to put the pedal down with the notes. It's not overlapping is what I'm saying. Now I'm pedaling with the hands. They're going down, the pedal's going down and up with the hands. It's not lagging behind it here. Third line, second measure, same thing. The pedal goes down and up with the hands. I want silence between the chords. Technically, it's sort of a staccato. Anything that's not legato is staccato, but it's a very long staccato. But the staccato notes, that's a short staccato. And then the last line, you're back to legato pedaling, overlap pedaling. Etc. Isn't this just funner than anything? Now I'm questioning what they want at the end. I don't quite understand what's going on in this second ending at the bottom. They have quarter notes and 2 quarter rests. It'll be here, rest, 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 rest. Then they're pedaling it all. So why aren't they just dotted half notes? Because that's what they are, except you're not keeping your hands down. The pedal's keeping the sound going. Rest, 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 rest. And that's how I would do it. Just don't know why, but the hand comes down and up for 1 beat. That's all it's down for. The pedal keeps the sound going. Maybe it's for show, so you can do that. I raised my hand. I did it again. But at the last one, keep the hands down for as long as the sound is there. And I'm going to hold that for 6 counts because of the fermata. Dynamics. At the beginning, you have a fermata on the first note and it's loud. I'm going to hold that for 6 counts. And then we're going to come in the next measure. The note you played, the first note, it's going to die away automatically. And listen to how much it dies away, because we're more or less going to match that going on. However soft that is here, and then a little louder, and then louder here, and then get softer, softer. You're very soft there. So it's like the crescendo up to the first note in the third measure. That's where you're after. Now that first note in the right hand, that dotted half note, I'm going to play that with the thumb, because in the next measure I'm going to play the C sharp E with 2 3 and then 1 5 and then 1 4. I can connect them with the fingers this way, and I like that. So it's the introduction is here, 1 2 3 4 5, getting softer, 1. Next line, the left hand has the melody, and they're giving you 2 dynamics. I wish they wouldn't do that. They did it. All you need is the piano, the P. This should be between the staves, and that's the melody. Wherever the melody is, everything else has to be under it. And that's really the rule. So the melody is soft. Decide how soft you want that, and then you make everything else under it. Not very soft, just soft. soft and then go all the way down to the bottom, the last line. We're going to retard and we're going to die away. And then we're going to go on. Now the melody is medium loud. They give you one dynamic for a change. Isn't that amazing? And everything else is under medium loud. Second measure, second line, you got a crescendo up. Now this part is loud. Staying loud until the first ending. Then you're dying away all the way down to soft. You got one measure to get soft. Second ending is loud. Just stay there. I question whether you really need to play with me on something when you're reading music that's complicated. I'll just give you an idea of what I think it might sound like, but I prefer you not copy me on it. So at the beginning, I'm going to play that note. I'm not going to count anything. I'm just listening for it to die away, and I want to match that going on. Now I've heard this, you can play these, actually these first two measures a little slower, and then the tempo actually starts with the third measure, but I'll leave that up to you. So it's here, and then die away, and then softly, louder, here, softly, now melody. Keep in mind these right hand notes are not staccato, so make them as legato as you can, whether the pedal down is down or not. And I've already demonstrated the end of this. It's etc. Or going on to the end, the last line on page 47, going to the second ending. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Then you just kind of hold it down until you and everybody else around is tired of hearing that silly note, and then you can let go with the pedal in the hands all at the same time.